ปลายปีหน้านะครับเรากำลังจะก้าวเข้าสู่ยุค AC กันแล้วนะครับแน่นอนว่ามีหลาย ๆ ประเด็นที่น่าสนใจและต้องจับตามองนะครับเรื่องของความพร้อมในสื่อยุคดิจิทัลก็เป็นอีกเรื่องหนึ่งนะครับที่เราจะต้องมาคุยกันวันนี้ครับเราได้รับเกียรติอย่างสูงนะฮะจากท่านศาสตราจารย์ที่มีความเชี่ยวชาญทางด้านกฎหมาย ICT จากประเทศมาเลเซียนะครับท่านเป็นอาจารย์อยู่ที่คณะนิติศาสตร์มหาวิทยาลัยมาลายาที่ประเทศมาเลเซียครับ Professor Abu Bakar Munir ครับจะมาพูดถึงเรื่องนี้กับเราครับ Good morning Professor
Good morning.
Can I say Selamat pagi?
Yes.
Okay, so as we talk that next year we're going to go through AEC, how about the preparation or readiness of digital media and TV or radio broadcasting business in Asia, in ASEAN?
Talking about ASEAN, I think given the fact that there's a very huge population in ASEAN countries, of course, the market is quite big. So in that sense, digital media, either broadcasting or TV, basically we are talking about a big market.
Yes.
But of course, there are challenges, and one of the challenges is, of course, the legal framework, whether or not the legal framework is in place to encourage digital media. Yeah. So we are talking about allowing a free flow of people, free flow of data, and we are talking about big data. We're talking about cloud computing and Internet of Things. So all these require a legal framework. Yeah. So we have to see whether or not each country in ASEAN are ready in terms of legal infrastructure.
Well, when we talk about legal framework, I think when we look at ASEAN, it's quite difficult because many countries in ASEAN still have like the pirate or like in terms of the intellectual properties law,
Right. Yeah.
and it's unequal between countries in ASEAN. Do you think this is one of the challenges?
I think you are right. One of the challenges is to protect the intellectual property of the inventor, of the maker of the products or services. And as I said, you are right. Intellectual property is one of the issues that ASEAN member countries will have to address individually as well as ASEAN. Yeah. And apart from that, we have to see whether or not there are legal framework to encourage free flow of data. And we are talking about Electronic Commerce Act, for example. We are talking about computer crimes. We are talking about personal data protection law. So it's a whole range of issues that we have to see and assess whether or not each country in ASEAN is ready.
Okay. When we talk specifically about like each kind or each channel of media, for example, broadcasting, is there any specific law or platform that we need to like join hand together or cooperate for ASEAN countries?
As I said, individual country will have to see what they have and see whether or not this law can be harmonized or we have to see whether or not there are common elements in each law of ASEAN member countries and try to learn from each other.
Okay. So far, which country in ASEAN is the most advanced?
It's difficult to say, but perhaps countries like Malaysia and Singapore are ready for that. Yeah.
But at the same time, we have a lots of problems about the piracy in like Indochina, in Vietnam, or even in Thailand.
Yeah.
How can we bridge the gap?
I think this is one of the challenges of ASEAN, and we like it or not, this challenge and other challenges will have to be addressed as a group and as individual member country.
So although there are some challenges, but also there are a lot of opportunities.
Of course, as
well.
I said, there are a lot of opportunities because ASEAN as a market is quite big, as I said. Yeah. If, for example, one day TV stations based in Malaysia can penetrate Indonesia or Thai market, you can imagine how big is the audience, for example. Yeah. And same thing, if a program developed in Thailand can penetrate Malaysians and Singapore markets, for example. So the market is huge, basically.
Yeah, so now you don't only produce a program for
Exactly.
one specific country, but the
Exactly.
whole region.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we should move towards that, given the fact that we are talking about one community in the future. Yeah, and we should encourage this kind of programs that can be watched not only in Malaysia but in Thailand, in Indonesia, and perhaps Singapore and the whole region.
Okay.
Yep.
So talking about that, I think Malaysian media has a lot of opportunities because the language, right? Because it's quite similar to Indonesia as well.
Yeah, Malaysia, Indonesia, and perhaps companies in Thailand also would have the same opportunity, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay. So how about the readiness for Malaysian media?
Difficult to say, but as far as the domestic law is concerned, our domestic law is very, very advanced. I would say that because previously we used to have a separate legislation for specific or different industry, but because of the merging, the conversion, so now the law in Malaysia is quite advanced because we have what we call as Communication Multimedia Act, CMA, to cover all these three sectors: broadcasting, internet, and a computer. Yeah.
Okay. So we talk much with the focus from the makers or provider. How about the users? Like, do we need to prepare ourselves?
Oh, I think so, because we are talking about how to protect certain groups in the society, how to protect data, for example, and how to protect consumers. So not only the media, not only companies we are talking here, we are also talking about consumers, right? And they have to be educated on this issue and perhaps other issues.
Okay, so literacy, media literacy is very important.
It is important.
Okay.
It is very important.
Okay, Professor, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
และนั่นก็เป็นมุมมองจากนักวิชาการของประเทศมาเลเซียนะครับว่าความพร้อมทางด้านสื่อดิจิทัลในยุคดิจิทัลเนี่ยเป็นอย่างไรกันกลับมาปรับโฟกัสทางธุรกิจการค้าและการลงทุนในยุค AEC ได้ใหม่กับ AEC Focus ครั้งหน้าครับ